Hey guys. All right, so this video is going to go into a little bit of a different direction, but I think it's extremely important that you guys know what's been going on with me for the last year. I have had 8 daughters, and in my rapture dream, Yeshua told me that I would not have any sons. Since I've had that dream, I've had 3 daughters, 3 more daughters since then. So I found out I was pregnant around January of 2024, and I was absolutely terrified. And the reason being is because I have 8 daughters under the age of 12. And so I've just been pregnant, breastfeeding, pregnant, breastfeeding, pregnant, breastfeeding. And there's never been a time when I'm not pregnant or breastfeeding, like this whole time. So I just depleted my reserves, and I depleted like everything in my body, and I was told that I was having fetal growth restrictions, FGR, and I didn't really understand why. So these last 2 pregnancies before I got pregnant in January of 2024, I was told that I had fetal growth restriction, and their suggestion of how we could handle the fetal growth restriction is to induce me, which means force labor to come to get the baby out. And every time I would deliver the baby, they would say, the placenta is still in good health. Everything looks great. I'm not exactly sure what happened and what was causing your fetal growth restriction. So I was really confused. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. I was like, oh no, this is really, really bad. So I started doing some research, and it was hard to find my actual cause because it was saying that fetal growth restriction is because of alcoholism while pregnant and doing drugs or smoking cigarettes. Now, I haven't had a drop or a sip of any alcohol in over a decade, along with cigarettes. It's been over a decade, and drugs, well over a decade. So I didn't understand why I was falling into this category with people who are doing these types of things while they're pregnant. So I had to do a lot of research to figure it out, because I was like, I don't do those things. So why am I having the same type of outcome as somebody who is partaking in such risky, horrible behaviors while they're pregnant? So I'm like, I don't get it. So I finally figured it out. It was really hard to come across and really hard to find. And when the cigarette companies had a lot of bad rep about all of the damage that they were doing to their customers and people getting cancer, and maybe it wasn't so healthy to smoke cigarettes anymore, and it was a cool thing to do, but maybe it was the not so cool thing to do, and they discovered that cigarettes were bad for people, the cigarette companies actually went into making processed foods. So I discovered that it was due to my diet. And I was not eating the foods that Yah has created for us. So when I thought I was eating something healthy, I was actually eating something not healthy. And a lot of our food nowadays has been messed with and not even genetically modified, but it's been stripped of everything beneficial. And so I discovered raw milk, and discovered that in the 1930s, Rockefeller had come along and decided that he wanted to lobby to make raw milk illegal. And when he did so, a lot of the people needed to pasteurize their milk. And so he made the pasteurization machines so that once the pasteurization was required, they would now have to use his patented pasteurization machines. So he made a lot of money with that. And then he also invested in oils, because pharmaceuticals were oil-based at that time. And now that people were off of raw milk and drinking highly inflammatory milk, which is denatured and destroyed due to pasteurization, they now had a lot of people that were more sick due to the inflammation that they were now getting from milk. And that's why people are lactose intolerant. It's actually not a lactose intolerant problem. It's due to the fact that people are drinking milk that's been heated. We're not supposed to be heating milk. Now, I've been breastfeeding and pregnant a lot of times, and I come with experience and tell you that we are not to be heating breast milk, just like we're not to be heating the breast milk of cows or goats. So I got my whole family on raw milk, and we buy 8 to 10 gallons a week. And I found somebody who follows the way, and I am able to support her small business and her farm. And that's what I think that we should be doing right now, is supporting small businesses and local farms, because otherwise our money is just going to big corporations. And all of the food, all the processed food that's in Walmart is actually owned by 5 companies. So they try to act like there's like a million different brands. Well, they're all under like umbrellaed underneath these 5 companies. So there really is no like, difference in what you're buying. They try to make it look like there's a difference, but there actually is no difference. So when I discovered all of this, there was actually also a video on YouTube. Somebody said that we're eating fake food and there's already a famine in the land. And I was like, what? So I'm looking into this. I'm like, oh my goodness, like you're right. Like we're actually eating chemicals. Like if you turn around anything that you're eating and look at the ingredients, and if you can't recreate what you're eating from the food that you can get at the store or in your home, like then that you shouldn't be eating that. Like these weird words that you can't pronounce, that's not healthy for you. There's no way that any of that stuff is good for you. So I went back to eating all whole foods. I've been drinking raw milk for a year now, and we have not gotten sick. I feel amazing. And the raw milk, the only time I got sick from milk this year was when my kids and I were super thirsty and we were at Walmart, and I was pregnant at the time, and I was like, well, everything else is like, you got the water that's just, I'm on a well, so I don't like drinking any water that's from a city because it's got pharmaceuticals in it and like fluoride, you even get that in the bottled water along with microplastics. So I was like, okay, I'm not justifying that. And then I have to get something to drink. So I got that little tiny pint mini gallon, like the little tiny miniature gallon of milk. And I was like, we'll just share this, guys. Well, we drank it, and we didn't even get back to the car before we were having extreme stomach pains. And we hadn't had any pasteurized milk in like around 6 months at this time. So our body was like, what is this? And that's when I really realized, oh my goodness, my body cannot stand having this milk. Your body gets used to it after a while, but when you get off of milk and then start drinking it again, oh my goodness, the effects are just very apparent and very, very like convincing. So we totally changed our milk in our house, and I only get raw milk. And there's amazing benefits for it, and it's all bioavailable. And I would highly recommend, if you could support a local farm and one that you trust and one that you know is clean. There's more people that have died from pasteurized milk than there is from raw milk. And I had actually lost one of my baby bottles in the back of my car, and it was in my car for like 2 months, okay? And I open it up, and it looks just like yogurt. So I open it up, and my husband was like, it smells like cheese. And I was like, yeah, it does. It smells like cheese. It doesn't smell rotting. Like if you were to have left a pasteurized bottle of milk in the car, oh my goodness, it would be awful. And my husband's always been like kind of paranoid about this whole raw milk thing. He's come around now and trusts it, but he was always like, did you get the milk? Hurry up and put it in a cooler and bring it home, because he's so scared about raw milk at the beginning, And I tried to explain to him, I'm like, did you know pasteurized milk actually, since everything's killed off, the only thing that really grows and stuff in it is like going to be like the fungus and bad bacteria, because you killed off all of the probiotics. You killed off all of the beneficial bacteria when you did that, when you did the pasteurization. So I told him I feel more uncomfortable drinking warm pasteurized milk than I do about raw milk. I mean, raw milk just turns into cheese. So that's not what happens with the pasteurized milk. So I discovered the milk thing, and then I started eating eggs, and the eggs, like it's multidimensional here when you're going with like eating real foods, multidimensional, because you have to wonder and worry about what that animal that you are now eating its egg, what it was eating, right? And you want chickens, if you have the ability to have chickens, oh my goodness, definitely get them. They don't want you to have them, along with the fact that they do not want you having raw milk. Raw milk used to be a medicine in the 1800s. They don't want you having it. So if you have chickens that are able to like kind of graze, on your property and kind of like go around and, eat the bugs and eat worms and like, act just like they would in nature. That is going to be your best bang for your buck when it comes to nutrition and having the best benefit for what your egg is now going to be like producing for the chicken producing the egg. It's like, that's going to be the best egg to eat. And you'll see the color change. Like you're going to see like the white egg that they bleached and it's just awful from the store. It's going to be like a yellow yolk. Okay. The yolks are actually supposed to be like kind of like a dark orange. And that's where you're going to have like your choline and your beta carotene. And these are all really amazing things that your body just thrives on. So having chickens kind of out in your farm or getting, again, like local eggs. Oh my goodness, amazing. I mean, these are just going to keep you so healthy and keep you thriving. And if you are expecting a baby, these are the types of things that you need to be consuming. And eating just eggs at the store, the ones that come in that like bluish green foamy styrofoam package at Walmart. Those are like the very basic bare minimum eggs. And they just don't really have much nutrition in them. So worrying about the multidimensional, what you're consuming, what you're consuming eat, right? So it's like a chain. So you're trying to figure out what that animal ate. So then going with grass-fed animals, right? Like a grass-fed cow. This is going to be a way more nutrient dense, far superior amount of nutrition than any other ground beef. Because what they have all the other cows eating is corn and grains. And cows are not meant to eat that. So when you feed animals things that their body just isn't meant to eat, you're going to get a sick animal. You're not going to get the same healthy animal that is eating salad, right? Like just walking around eating grass. So when you're eating your steak, not only are you eating your steak, you're also getting your salad in there too, because all the nutrients from all of the soil and the grass is going to be in that steak because that's what it was eating. It was eating what Yah has produced, the beautiful, wonderful land. And instead they're eating up, the regular ground beef that you can get at the store is just made with Roundup ready corn. So it's glyphosate corn. So that animal is now eating glyphosate and then you're consuming that animal. And so you're consuming glyphosate meat and then everything that the cow got from corn, which really isn't much. So they're trying to keep us sick and it's profits over people. So the corporations are trying to make as much money, but it's also the people that are, in the deep state and the shadow people, they're also wanting you guys to be sick and wanting me to be sick. So I discovered all of this and I got my whole family on a different diet. And I was like, we are going to do things completely different from here on out. We are not buying Doritos ever again. I was like, never again will we ever eat any of that garbage. One of my favorite movies, actually, that I used to watch with my kids is Ratatouille. Out of all of the animation movies I've ever seen, I love Ratatouille. That has like the most amazing storyline. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I literally became the little chef because I was like, why are you guys eating poison? When I started to discover these things, I had to like kind of wake my husband up to this and my kids. And I'm like, we have to eat real food, guys. We cannot be eating the food that they provide. The food that they're providing us it's horrible. Like it's literally poison. And so, so you have the raw milk and then you have the eggs, right? That are going to be pasture raised chickens. And I'm saying like the stuff that you get at the store, it's not going to, really be pasture raised. Okay. I was buying Vital Farms eggs and we actually went to my friend's farm that I buy raw milk from. She wanted to give us a tour of her farm for my kids. So we went over there and we actually drove past a Vital Farms chicken house. and it's a huge thing, right? And they have all this land. And my husband's like, see, I told you, look, there's no chickens out there, Megan. There's no chickens. And I was like, oh my gosh, there is no chickens. They're all inside. And so when we got to my friend's farm, we were like, oh my goodness, is that Vital Farms? And she was like, yeah. And her daughter actually worked for them, right? And she said, I worked for them for a while, and yeah, the chickens don't leave the hen house, 100% not. And when they do, they end up just getting killed by like a coyote or like a hawk. There's only like a couple that get out, and they don't make it. So yeah, not a lot of chickens leave that hen house. So, and it was like a beautiful day. Like there's no excuse for like the chicken to not be outside. Like it was a gorgeous summer day, not too hot. Like it was perfect out. So I was like, that is not good. So I stopped buying those eggs. But just trying to like think about what the animal that you're consuming and what the animal is producing has been eating is like really critical and like crucial to making sure that you're getting nutrition in your diet. And so that's really important, along with the breads. They actually strip out the bran and the germ out of the bread, and that's where all the nutrition is. And I personally think they do it on purpose. So they're trying to keep us malnourished and sick. So it's extremely important that you're looking into the ways of doing things like back to like the 1800s, right? So I changed my diet and I just started eating real foods. And when I ate my fruits and my vegetables, I would go with organic. But, you know, this type of lifestyle, it does cost more money, you know, but I think your health is priceless. So if you can't afford organic, look up the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. That's going to show you the 12 items that you have to buy organic, because they have just been, you know, they have been done like a lot of research on, and they tested them, and they're really contaminated. Like you shouldn't eat them at all if they're not organic. Okay. And I know my husband just recently brought home grapes that were not organic. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, they were the only ones available. And I'm like, hey, if they don't have organic grapes, don't buy them. Like seriously, just don't buy them, because it's better that we don't have grapes than to eat the poison ones. And so, yeah, my husband's like, okay, I won't buy you grapes anymore. And so there's also called the Clean 15, and that is 15 items of the fruits and vegetables that you can get that are not organic, but they've tested them and they're pretty safe, even though they're not organic. So look those up. Those are really, really important. And so I was doing all these things, right? Like it totally changed my diet. I was eating all like natural foods. Like I ate back to like the 1800s, right? And I'm right now trying to save money to buy myself an electric mill. I have a hand mill, and a mill is basically this thing that your wheat berries go into so you can make your own flour. So I can have the bran and the germ back. And the wheat berries are very, very like the nutrition starts to it starts to lose nutrition as it sits out, right? Well, they say that they take out the germ and the bran so that they can make it more shelf stable. And that's the thing. All the food in the stores are meant to be shelf stable, and it's all profits over people. They don't want the stuff to expire and then lose money on it. So they want to make it so that it'll sit in the store forever. But if it's sitting in the store, just like McDonald's, you can have a French fry underneath your seat for like 20 years and it looks the exact same. That is not good. That's not a good sign. I know this is a little off topic, but it's just so crazy wild, right? There's actually morticianers, and morticianers are people who deal with people who have died, and they're preparing them for the funeral services and stuff, right? So they're like dealing with draining their blood and stuff. They said that like back in the day, back in the 1800s, these bodies would actually start to decay like immediately, like really soon, right after death. Like it was very soon after. Nowadays, because people are eating so much crazy processed foods and like shelf stabilizers and all these things, their bodies are like not decaying right away. Like you're consuming so much food preservatives that you're actually being preserved. Like it's incredible and disgusting at the same time. So the bodies aren't decaying the same way that they used to because of the food preservatives. So I try to stay away from all of that now because I'm so disgusted. And the point that I want to make is that they said that I had a fetal growth restriction because of, alcohol and drugs and cigarette smoking, right? Well, it comes to find out that the cigarette companies, once they got that bad rep for being bad for you, they went into making processed foods, highly addictive. So I have overcome being an alcoholic, praise Yah. I've overcome being a smoker, praise Yah. And I have overcome the addictive foods. And I'm going to tell you right now, it flies under the radar. You don't even know you're addicted. You don't even know you're addicted. I didn't know I was addicted until I stopped eating them. And I started eating the food that Yah provides. Now, going into these times when there's going to be pestilence and there's going to be, all of these illnesses going around, we want to make it to the end, It says that he who makes it to the end shall be saved. So I want us to get healthy, and I want everyone to stop eating this poison food, I'm like the little chef rat. I'm like, no, I'm like smelling the food. I'm like, this is bad for you. Like, please don't eat it. Because I really do love you guys. I really, really do. Everyone who subscribed to this channel is like a brother and sister to me. You are family. And so just like I want to get my family healthy, and I don't want us supporting all of these awful corporations and the awful things that they're doing to humanity. They're murderers, and they know it. They know that they've killed millions of people with their food. The food dyes are behavioral changes in children. They're literally medicines. So my children, I'm like, you are not allowed to have food dyes. Like, you are not allowed to have M&Ms, like none of that, The funnest thing that they have for like changing the color of things is chlorophyll. I buy chlorophyll and I drink chlorophyll water because it has magnesium in it, and it basically is the plant's blood. And so it helps with if you have like anemia. So I started drinking chlorophyll when I was pregnant, and I had no pregnancy symptoms. So all of those symptoms that they say are normal, oh, this is like pregnancy symptom. Do you have swelling? No, I don't eat your processed foods. Do you have fatigue? No, because when I did have fatigue, I realized I needed to start eating some more red meat because I was iron deficient. That's anemia. Those are signs of anemia. That's not pregnancy symptoms. And then they're like, do you have practice contractions? You mean Braxton Hicks contractions? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, because I drink enough water. I'm not dehydrated. So I started doing all of these things, and the doctors was like, they were completely insane. Like, they were like, what is wrong with this lady? Like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, I don't have any pregnancy symptoms. They're like, you don't have nausea? And I'm like, no, because I eat like real food. Heartburn? Nope. I only have heartburn when I cheat and I eat processed foods. None of those pregnancy symptoms are normal, guys. And I just want you to know that. And I was so nutrient deficient that my water would break before my contractions start, because your bag of water, it needs to be able to sustain the pregnancy, right? Well, I just want to say this pregnancy, I had my baby unassisted at home. I didn't have any help. I had my baby by myself with my husband. And we bought like a birthing kit because we do live like an hour away from a major city. And so we're like, okay, well, if I go to the hospital, I have to drive like an hour. And so when I would go to my baby appointments, it was an hour drive. So I was just waiting for my water to break. And so I was just having contractions, and I was kind of like, okay, well, my water broke as I was pushing the baby out. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because it like lubricates the baby to just come out. So that was the best pregnancy and delivery I've ever had in my life. I have never had another type of experience like that. Labor and delivery is not meant to be a challenging thing. It's only challenging because of what they've done to us with the food and with our pharmaceutical drugs. There is a way of doing things, and it's going back to God's design and eating food that he created for us. We are not supposed to be eating their food. So, I don't think I can think of anything else. Oh, and also fat. They want you to get away from fat, like fat free, right? Like, no, you want fat. Fat is good. Fat actually feeds your brain. So fat is amazing, and it is something that your body needs. So don't get anything that's fat free. Always get like the whole milk, whole milk yogurt. You always want to go with that. And what else did I do? I also, I have sprouts. So I have sprouts, and I sprout my own stuff. And you can get a sprouting kit for $20 and get sprouting seeds on Amazon. And sprouts are like amazing. You can look up videos on how to sprout your own seeds. And it's so easy. And it's actually more nutrient dense if you get broccoli seeds and sprout them in your house than growing and eating an actual broccoli, mature little plant. And you can have broccoli sprouts, and they mature in 5-day cycles. So every 5 days I have my sprouts, and you can put them in the freezer, and they're extremely, extremely nutrient dense. So you can have those, and, that's like an amazing little, supplement you can have instead of taking like these prenatal vitamins. Any type of vitamins actually are all oils. They're actually synthetic, so they're not real vitamins. Unless you're getting whole foods vitamins, you're actually getting synthetic oil vitamins. So you don't want to take those. And, there's an amazing also thing called Soleil water. So our water, they filter it so much, right? And it's a good thing, especially if you're living in a city. You definitely want to filter your water, but it loses all of its trace minerals, right? All the things that we once needed, and still need today, that were still just like naturally found in the water, right? They didn't have to filter the water before. And the water just contained all of these wonderful things that you need. And so if you buy some Himalayan salt and you put it, you can look it up, it's Soleil water. So it's SOLE water. If you just look that up on YouTube, you can find how to make it. It's so simple. You just add salt and then to water and shake it, for a few, I would say like probably for like 30 seconds to a minute. Just continue to shake it. And then you set it on your counter, and then within 24 hours, all the salt is going to settle to the bottom, and then you're going to have the water. And it's going to do this amazing thing where like the salt, the water and the salt combine, and then the trace minerals are in there, and it's just such good water. And it really hydrates you. I mean, like you can keep drinking water all day, and then all you have to do is just keep peeing and peeing and peeing. And when you drink Soleil water, you retain that water, and you actually get the hydration of drinking water. So we're extremely dehydrated people, and like malnourished and like just sick, and they want us that way. Now with the times ahead, we don't want to be needing and requiring their assistance. So becoming more, self-sufficient and independent is critical and crucial in this day and age. So along with the fact that the hospitals have just gone completely downhill. I went there, my friend went there. It felt like we were in a third world country. I was so scared because they actually gave me sepsis in my last delivery. They gave me and my baby sepsis, and I ended up at the NICU for a month with my baby in there. And they were trying to give my baby a blood transfusion. And I was like, not with the shots that are out, with the DNA altering stuff. I'm not interested in your shots. I don't want anything from you guys. And they're like, well, we want to do a spinal tap. And that's extremely traumatizing to a baby. So I said, no. Like, I was able to get out of there with heavy prayer without them doing anything to my baby. And they wanted to really bad. So, we do not want to end up at the hospitals now, guys. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. There's a few channels that I highly recommend. His name is Bobby Parrish, and it's BobbyParrish. He is a YouTube channel, and he is the one that I discovered when I was like, I need to figure out how to eat like a normal human being again. He will help you eat like a normal person, because we were not eating normal, and maybe you're not eating normal right now. We need to be eating real food, 100%. We need to get off of their food. They are keeping us dumbed down and sick. So he has a free app, and it's called Bobby Approved. And there's a barcode scanner, and you can scan the food, and you can find out if it's healthy. You can find out what's wrong with it, because he will list all the problems with it. and you can start getting healthier. And he said, he's like, you know, use my app and it's like I'm going shopping with you. And it's really amazing. And I highly recommend it. And, you know, he's got like millions of subscribers, but, you know, just a shout out to him. Thank you. Thank you so much for what you did for my family and for me. Because I was able to have a normal, healthy pregnancy, and I was able to deliver my baby on my own. So thank you for that. Praise Yah. And there's a couple other channels that I will also link down below. They will just help you get an idea of like kind of eating. You know, there's a channel called Biblical Nutritionist. Oh, I love her channel. She's so sweet. I will put her channel also in the link below. If you guys just want to get healthy and just want to start living the way that Yah has intended you to, we do not need to be dumbed down and sick all the time, guys. We can get back up and we can start living the way that Yah has intended us to. And just having the feeling of not being tired all the time and like brain fog. Oh man, what an amazing gift that is. So I just want that for all of you guys. And what else? Oh yeah, definitely stop eating. Well, not eating. You don't want to eat toothpaste. Do not use fluoride toothpaste. Okay. You can get some baking soda and brush your teeth with that. And when you're cleaning your fruits and vegetables and your produce, use baking soda. It's the cheapest, best way of getting any type of pesticides and herbicides off of your produce, because it is, it has to do with the base and the acidity, and it neutralizes the pesticides and the herbicides because they're acidic. So it's like, it's the best way, and it's the cheapest way. I was buying organic veggie wash for a while there, and then I discovered that we just need baking soda. And I started washing my clothes with vinegar instead of buying detergent. Now, I don't know if it's costing more money or not, but my clothes come out just fine. And I discovered that also on YouTube. These are just like ways of becoming more natural and getting away from all of their dyes and all of their chemicals. So I will continue as I discover more things to share it with you guys. But this is what I'm doing right now. And I know that Yah led me to this. I know for a fact it was because I was in fear and I was really scared and I prayed. And then all of a sudden this huge door opened. And it's just weird because the more people that I talk to that are following the way, they've also discovered these things. They're like, yeah, we also have discovered that they're poisoning us. And we've also discovered that we need to start eating real food right now. So I just want all of us to be healthy and to be well and to be ready for his coming. So I love you guys. And, you know, I look forward to your comments. All right. Bye.